Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gaia. Today we'll be experimenting with a slightly different format of a video where the video will just be a voiceover with a footage of me working. Alright, let's get into the video. Today's topic is embarrassment is just a mindset. To begin, let me start by asking you a question. Have you ever done something so embarrassing that you wanted the ground to open up in that moment and swallow you whole as you were? Maybe you waved back at someone who wasn't waving at you. Maybe you said you too to the waiter who told you to enjoy your meal. Oh my god, that has happened to me before. We've all been there. That's my point. We've all been embarrassed at some point in our lives. We've also experienced the physical manifestation of the feeling of embarrassment, which is hot flushed red cheeks, sudden drop in your stomach, or the voice in your head, or the voice that you have, your inner voice, just screaming, why did I just do that? It's a real feeling. It's an intense feeling. But here's the truth. I think embarrassment is not a fact. It's just a mindset. Embarrassment is a mindset. Embarrassment is a social emotion. It comes from the fear of being judged, laughed at, and excluded. And to really think about it, embarrassment is the fear of how we believe others perceive us, not necessarily how others actually think about us, but how we believe they perceive us. Imagine this. You trip on a sidewalk in public and you feel mortified. But did anyone even notice? And if they did, how long did they care about it? 2 seconds, 5 seconds, they probably went back to scrolling on their phones or worrying about their own lives, right? It's not that big of a deal. So many times we hold on to that incident that lasted 5 seconds because it made us feel embarrassed. We hold on to that moment that everyone else has already forgotten, and we become prisoners of memories that no one else remembers. That's the power and unfortunately also the trap of embarrassment. Here's something you can try. The next time you feel embarrassed, maybe you can question yourself by saying, am I actually embarrassed or am I just being observed? Most of the times, just like we observe and see other people are also observing and seeing us. A lot of times, it's just about being seen. And being seen is not a bad thing. Being seen getting tripped on the sidewalk is not a bad thing. Being seen making a silly mistake is not a bad thing. Being seen waving at someone who wasn't waving at you is also not a bad thing. The problem is we are so trained from a very young age to want to control how others see us from the way we project ourselves that we forget that people have the authority to perceive us the way they want. We want to come across as perfect, poised, prepared, but life is messy and so are we. Life is not perfect and we are not perfect. So now when I trip on the sidewalk, I just live that moment. If I've hurt myself, if I hit my bum too hard and it hurts, I just let it hurt. Or if I fell down funny, I laugh about it. It is so important to be able to understand that it's really, really not the end of the world. One way to let go of embarrassment and the mindset of embarrassment is by letting yourself being seen as a human being, as a person who makes mistakes and is allowed to make mistakes. Not as someone who has to always have a brave face on. You are human and you're allowed to be. If you accidentally knock off a cup of coffee in a cafe, you didn't do it on purpose, and that's all right. to let go of the embarrassment mindset, you have to give yourself room to feel accepted by yourself for your own flaws first. It is so important, it is affirmative that you understand yourself a little deeper so that you can let go of this mindset. Now let's move on to social conditioning and the fear of judgment. How we hold on to this so hard, don't we? Okay, why do we feel embarrassed in the first place? A lot of the times, much of it is directly related to conditioning. Because from a young age, we're taught what is appropriate and what is not, what is correct and what is not, how to behave, what to say, how to dress, how to walk, how to talk, everything. We're praised for fitting in and we're scolded or marginalized for standing out. The truth is, however, that fitting in is the opposite of being free. Fitting in is the opposite of being free. And you have to make that choice. If you would much rather be free and accept yourself for who you are, or would you much rather fit into a mold that just was not made for you? We fear embarrassment because we fear the judgment that comes with it. The judgment that others will necessarily throw at us based on their perception of us. But how much does it matter? People will judge you anyway. You can't make everyone happy, and your job is not to make everyone happy. Whether you play it safe or you take bold risks, someone will always have something to say. So if you're going to be judged either way, why not be judged while being authentic? If you're gonna be embarrassed either way, you should just do it, shouldn't you? If you're gonna be embarrassed, or if someone else is going to perceive your actions as embarrassing, even when you're not, what's the point in doing things the most appropriate way or the perfect way? Because there really isn't one. Also, what if I told you that embarrassment could be a sign of growth, depending on the kind of things you are embarrassed about? Think about it. When you try something new and you put yourself out there, you risk failing at something new. You risk looking awkward. You risk making mistakes. But all of that is because you're putting yourself out there. As you grow older, if the things that you're embarrassed about change at a more frequent level, and the concept of embarrassment also evolves, that is a sign of growth. So at 25, if you're embarrassed that you cannot always pay for everyone in your family, or say your goal is to be financially free, and if you get embarrassed that you can't always provide for yourself, or you can't always provide for the people you want, that is a sign of growth, because you are constructively working towards achieving something, and the lack of it causes you to be embarrassed about it. Believe me though, nobody grows in their comfort zones. Nobody builds resilience by always playing it safe. If you feel embarrassed, it can also mean that you cared enough to try, that you stepped out of the norm, that you dared to be seen as a misfit and did it anyway. That you chose to be your authentic self over fitting in, and that is what matters the most. Now we're at the last section, which is embarrassment is a choice. Embarrassment is a choice. You always have a choice. In every moment of embarrassment, you can either shrink, retreat, and replay it for days on end, or you can smile, learn, laugh at yourself, have fun, and move on, knowing that one awkward moment doesn't matter, and it for sure doesn't diminish your worth. Embarrassment is not a fixed reality. It's not a fixed reality, my love. It's just a mindset. Just like any other mindset, it can be shifted. Now, at the end of the video, I've got a little challenge for you. Do one thing every week that may embarrass you. Do it on purpose. Wear something bold. Sing in public. Start a conversation with a stranger, or if you've never talked to strangers, just go up to someone and compliment them. Even if you think it's awkward, still do it. Share a post or video that you've really wanted to post and you haven't. Don't hold yourself back. Notice what happens inside you, inside your mind, inside your heart. Notice what changes you see in your behavior. You will most probably feel a little nervous at first, but then you'll realize that you didn't die. It wasn't all that bad. The world didn't end. In fact, it may have even set you free in the first place, because you proved to yourself that you are bigger than your fear of being judged. You are bigger than your fear of being embarrassed. And that's what matters more. Embarrassment is not an unchangeable truth. It is not a permanent reality. It's a reaction. It's a mindset. It's a story that we tell ourselves of how we should be. But it is so important, my love, for you to allow yourself to be human. You're allowed to mess up, fall down, say the wrong thing at the right time, and still be worthy. So the next time that you feel embarrassed, you can just smile and remind yourself that this is just a moment, and you decide what it means. You decide if it is going to replay in your head, or if it's just going to be a moment that passed and you went on with your day. Either ways, embarrassment is not bigger than you. You are worthy of everything you dreamed of and more, without having to doubt every single moment that you make a mistake. Alright, that's it for today's video. Like, share and subscribe, guys. And do let me know if you have any specific suggestions for me. Do try the little challenge out. And let me know what you think, how you felt, how this challenge felt for you in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Love you.